Good day. My name is Milt Schoen, and I'm the Hennepin County Veteran Service Officer, and I welcome you to America Salutes. Today we have Mr. Thomas Hanson, who's the Director of the Veterans of Foreign War Claims Office, as our guest, and he's going to inform us a little bit about what he does. And I might just start out by asking you, we just had the VFW Midwinter Conference, and I know you've got a County Veteran Service Officer training school. You have people from National come in, and there's a lot of information that you provide to veterans at that event.
Correct. Well, you know, it's a training effort all the time for all of us in the business, as you well know, Milt, and it's a part of an agenda that we as an organization want to continue, is try to keep everybody up to date with the most recent changes and any additional information that might be helpful to them in the business that they do in representing veterans, or you know, getting the claims process initiated for veterans. And so, you know, we bring in some people from our Washington office, and the leaders from all of the local veterans facilities, the medical centers and the regional office, and a number of other different individuals that might offer valuable information to the trainees, if you will. And it goes pretty well. We have a lot of good questions. The session lasts most of the morning, and we just seem to, it seems to have always been a good session.
And this is a case where veterans bring their individual concerns and the concerns that are impacting them, and you have people both from the VA and from the state, and people who can actually deal with these issues that you're interacting with.
Right. You know, a lot of our members who are not service officers attend the session as well, and you know, pose some questions to those individuals that you know, are relevant, and obviously you know, gives them the answers that they need to their specific questions. So it's a good session for everybody. And so, you know, it's an annual thing that we do, and we have post-service officers as well in the VFW, as you well know, that are not professionals in the community. They do assist the members of their particular VFW post, and we hold a school of instruction as well for them at our VFW Fall Conference that is a little less intense, because they're not in the field professionally. So our instruction to them routinely is to get to know your County Veteran Service Officer, and essentially the veteran service business has become so intense and legalized that it's not good for them to sit out in the field as a non-professional trying to file claims on behalf of their members and to get them to the county service officer, so that the professional in their community files the claim. And you know, that's the initial part of that claims process that is so important in, as you well know, in the development of the claim and the accumulation of evidence that might be required in ensuring that the veteran's claim is successfully adjudicated.
Now, the VFW is more than just clubs. I think some people have the impression that it's just clubs, but you can speak for that.
That is, you know, that is so true. You know, I mean, obviously, when you mention VFW to somebody, or I say to somebody, I work for the VFW, it's, oh, do you tend bar for them, or do you manage one of the clubs, or whatever? I mean, obviously, that's the first thing that comes to mind is the VFW post, you know, the storefront VFWs in the communities. And the VFW obviously is more than that. I mean, certainly the clubs play a major role in what we do, in the social aspect, in the community activities, and you know, the involvement with the police department and fire department and schools and whatnot. So I mean, you know, they play a vital role in that whole thing, but the VFW obviously is way more than that. And our major focus from the time we were instituted in 1899 has been veteran service, and that's what I do. Is I work in the claims area of the VFW, and what that entails is representation in front of the VA. There are several congressionally chartered veteran service organizations that are recognized by the VA as being able to provide representation to veterans or for veterans in front of the VA. And so the way that thing progresses is if a veteran comes to see you and you file a claim on that individual's behalf, and you ask that individual if they would like to be represented, that's essentially what we do, is provide that representation. We receive the claim generally from county service officers. We forward that on then to the VA for processing, and with that representation, obviously, we're provided a copy of all correspondence that we furnish to the county so that everybody in the process is aware of what's going on with the claim. So I guess my biggest issue with all of that is that I'm an advocate of representation. Obviously I work for the VFW, and I think that we probably do the best job in providing representation, so I recommend our office, but I oftentimes tell veterans, get representation. If it's the VFW, good. If not, that's fine too. You just need representation in front of the VA. So
if there's a problem, we send many of our claims through your office. We can call you up. You can actually pull a VA file and find out that this piece of evidence is missing,
right?
And that we need to get additional information in to make the claim.
Well, that's so important. And as you know, our new generation of veterans are so electronically minded that the VA has tried to keep even with the times, if you will, and has allowed a lot of veterans to file their claims electronically. And a lot of times in doing so, we don't get representation in the matter because of the fact that I don't believe that there's a spot in there that they can designate an organization to represent them. And so it's tough to follow up on those claims, and oftentimes the information that's updated on that system is incorrect. So it's vital that the service organizations involve themselves in the claim.
And if you file electronically, it may not go through the St. Paul regional office.
Very true.
And so it's being processed out of North Carolina or California, and we don't have connections.
Well, fortunately, we have a VFW Service Office in each regional office. But for me to get a claim that some veteran has filed electronically, we find out it's in St. Petersburg, then I have to call the VFW Service Office in St. Petersburg for an update, and that's only if that individual has designated us as the representative. So it's really imperative that veterans visit their county veteran service officers to file the claims.
Now, we've got a claims backlog, and this is something in your history and my history dealing with the VA. Periodically, we have these big backlogs, and we're going through one right now. Do you want to say anything about that?
Well, obviously, we're fortunate in St. Paul because the work ethic in Minnesota is what it is. So they do a pretty good job of getting the end products taken care of here. But I talked to my colleague in Oakland here a couple of weeks ago. The process is taking pretty close to 2 years for a claim that's filed in Oakland, California. I mean, it's like it's money in the bank maybe, but by the same token, it's not justice.
Justice delayed.
Exactly, and yeah, I mean, the Secretary of Veterans Affairs has done a lot of initiatives or come out with a lot of initiatives that individual or the Veterans Benefits Administration believes is adequate to try and alleviate some of that case backlog. But you know, we've got a lot of veterans coming home these days that are filing claims for any one of a number of different disabilities acquired on active duty, and everybody's got a claim to file. We still have World War II veterans filing claims. So, you know, we get all of those in the mix. I don't know what the solution is. I really don't. And, you know, in these budget times, money's tight, and, you know, trying to hire a number of other employees to try and alleviate that system, I don't know whether or not that's going to happen. But again, like I say, in St. Paul, we're rather fortunate because of the fact that, you know, the processing time here is still generally under a year. So we're, you know, as incredible as it seems, that's timely.
Yeah. Well, and one of the things with this conflict that we've had people that have been deployed a second, a third, a fourth tour, and you know, if you go back to Vietnam, 1 out of 10 people were actually in the combat theater, and the 9 out of 10 were supporting it. It's a much higher percentage in these conflicts of people who are on the front line, so they're much more likely to sustain an injury.
Well, not only that, Milt, but you know, the body armor is another issue. You know, a lot of the individuals that might come home from the current conflicts with injuries may not have survived in you know, previous wars, and you know, the injuries are so much different. You know, the traumatic brain injury is the biggest issue with a lot of these individuals because of the IEDs and the different explosions that you know, the blast injuries, those kind of things are difficult. It's a new thing for the VA to be treating, and it's a new thing for the VA to be rating. They haven't had that kind of a situation before that you know, was so prevalent in a disability pattern.
And one of the things that you do claims work, but when you service connect somebody and get them compensation, they also are entitled to priority health care.
Well, a number of different ancillary benefits come with service connection, obviously. And, you know, healthcare happens to be one of them. You know, there's a number of different insurance programs that a veteran may be entitled to. And obviously, if the disability is so severe that a veteran is rated to be totally disabled, you know, with that comes you know, a number of different entitlements that are, you know, the individual, but also the family would have some entitlement.
Well, we're getting towards the end of our interview here, and one of the things is making the VA relevant, and I know it's one of the things the VFW does, is to what is happening and to make sure that people get the health care, they get the behavioral health help, so that 20, 30 years from now, that they will have had a decent life and they'll be productive. But you know, Vietnam, it was like you got out one day and the next day, you know, there was nothing there.
Well, that's so true, you know, and you know, we as a service organization, obviously, veteran service is our main goal, our main function, and our main purpose, and taking care of the veterans after they've come home essentially is what we're all about. And you know, the fact that we've been taking care of veterans for generations is, you know, obviously the veterans that are coming home need somebody as a representative to stand on their behalf, and the VFW is just one of several service organizations that does that.
Well, Tom, I want to thank you for being our guest today.
I'm more than happy to have been here.
For
Thanks
informing the
me.
public and your wealth of knowledge, and I thank you for what you do day in, day out for veterans.
Well, and the same to you, my friend.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.